Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Craps. And I gotta say, I am excited. We're just 30 seconds into this show, and we've already got people out there leaving comments, wanting to hear from Tony Leo what this wage program is all about, learn a little bit about Advantage Dice Control, get a few tips maybe from Mark Kilgore on how he shoots so many times. And guys, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic show. So just real quick, I'm going to bring all three of them up here. So we've got Tony Leo there in the middle. And we got Mark Kilgore all the way over there to the right. And so, guys, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to just talk a little bit of craps and talk about your backgrounds and get some audience participation in here. We're going to see what the audience wants to hear about. But let's get started. Let's go over to Mark first. So, Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got involved in the game of craps?
Yeah, guys, I got involved in craps about 4 years ago, roughly. Went out to Vegas. Did okay on my first time out. Didn't really know too much about the game. And when I got back home, I was like, I'd really like to learn how to play this game and get better at it. So I started doing some research on the internet, looking through all the instructors and watching videos and whatever I could find. And came across Tony's videos and said, I'm going to give him a call and see what he's offering and what's involved. And that's what I did. I went ahead and gave him a call and talked to him, and he answered my phone call right away.
Did you say you've only been playing this game for 4 years?
Yeah, about 4 years. And but I've dedicated a lot of time. I spend hours and hours of practice. I practice every single day, just about, and as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
But Tony took my call right away, and we talked, and the rest is history. He's taught me everything I need to know and been very successful at it.
Well, Mark, you and I have been playing together on live fantasy craps for, a few months now. And you are a phenomenal shooter. So did that come natural to you?
No, it doesn't come natural. I practice and practice and I practice. And I've been to a lot of casinos in a lot of different areas. And I think that's really helped my game because I can adjust to what the table is doing pretty quickly. And I do that, like I said, through practice and know what my dice are doing.
Yeah. So you started playing about 4 years ago. You really liked it. But what made you want to teach?
Tony got in touch with me right before, just after COVID had started, and asked me if I'd like to come on board and be an instructor for him. I said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I would love to do that. And we talked a little bit and got it all set up, and the rest is history.
Well, that sounds awesome, man. I'm just floored that you've been only been playing this game for about 4 months now, or 4 years. I've only been playing about 3 years, and man, I cannot hold a candle to you in the way you throw and the way you bet. So you're a very impressive player, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, let's switch over to Tony. But before we get to you, I want to talk to a couple of the viewers. I'm seeing some questions coming in here. Mudslide Mac, he's interested in knowing how Tony incorporated his martial arts into Advantage crap. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And guys, if you would, just keep putting your questions out there. We will get to your questions here as soon as we possibly can. But before we get there, let's talk to Tony and see what his beginnings were like. Tony, how'd you get into the game?
Well, as far as my martial arts, that goes back to when Bruce Lee had his movies out in the early 70s. I started my martial arts training in 1972. After a Bruce Lee movie, me and my roommate went to the closest karate school. We both signed up, and I ended up staying. He ended up dropping out, and the rest is history. Opened up a couple of schools from 1980 to 2000. And I was in martial arts before my gambling actually started. My gambling actually started, I was on a very successful card counting blackjack team here in Vegas for years. And I got introduced to the craps table by one of the members on the blackjack team. And up until 2000, when I lived in California, I was strictly a don't player. Doing what we do today. It's called triple threat. It's just the don't pass, the numbers, and then the don't come. But it's it's on how you time it and how you bet it. And I still do the same today. But then after that, when I moved out here in 2000, I started, looking at everybody's books and this, that, and the other, getting into the dice control part of it. And one day it just hit me. I mean, I'm at my craps table, and I just said, well, this is what I'm going to do. And, I listened to everybody else and kind of did the opposite. And here I am.
Yeah, Tony. So you and I have talked a little bit about your martial arts background. So I know some about it. But I think you just mentioned you opened a couple of different schools. So you had a small chain of.
Yeah, I had two karate schools in Southern California, Anaheim Hills and Yorba Linda. And I operated them for 20 years. Don't forget, at the time, back then, when I first started, there was probably 5 karate schools in Southern California. Now there's 5 every block. So the instruction back then was much better, and the degrees that you had to go through to pass your test were different. Now it's all money motivated, and you got 10-year-old kids running around with black belts. But in any event, moved out here and started the thing with the gaming pro and whatnot, and haven't looked back since.
So I don't want to go way too far from from your karate stuff. I'll come back to that in a minute. But I just saw a comment out here from South Carolina, Brian. He's looking forward to meeting you, Tony, next week. So it looks like you've got somebody out there that's going to be taking your class next week.
Oh yeah, right. Brian. I think we're going to see each other on the 29th. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Very
nice. So let's go back to karate for just a minute. I think your pictures on the back wall tell a little bit of a story. And tell us a little bit about your recognition in your karate days.
Okay. I was a rated competitor. I fought and competed all around the United States, 70s, 80s, 90s. And we had a ball. I mean, Vegas was a hot spot. There was a karate tournament here every week. So I'd mix my card counting and craps at the time with my competition. But at the time, I mean, we were competing at the Riviera, the Frontier, the Dunes, the Aladdin. I mean, they're all gone now. But and I love to get into it and fight. And so did my students. I trained a lot of champions and a lot of nice things. A lot of people, nice people. It was a nice career in my martial arts.
I can't quite tell, but is that Chuck Norris in the picture?
Yeah, you got Chuck Norris right here. He was one of my mentors. I actually had an opportunity to do some competition with his guys and whatnot. This is Ed Parker. This was the first one to introduce karate to America in around in the early 50s. He's gone now, but this here is my first black belt test, which I got in 1977. And this one you can't see here is my last black belt test in 1999. There it is. Thanks, Dave. Yep. And that one right there is when I retired in 1999, and I was promoted to 9th degree black belt there. And I retired in the top 10 in the country at age 45. So, so I still mess with it. My garage is all set up like a karate school. It's all carpeted, heavy bags, mirrors, stretch rails, things like that. So, it's something I enjoy.
Now, you were also telling me about a presidential recognition. What?
This one right here. Yeah, you guys will get a kick out of this. This one was the Presidential Sports Award. And that was, what was the date on that? 1993 from President Bill Clinton. And I tell everybody, President Clinton was so busy, he couldn't bring it out to me. So Monica came out and brought it to me.
So definitely hanging out with some famous and powerful people.
Oh, yeah. I've met quite a few, great, like I said, through martial arts and gambling, too. You never know who you're going to meet gambling. It's off the charts, the people that you can meet, either in martial arts or in the gambling arena. A lot of good people.
All right. So, you had a lot of success, both as a businessman and as a competitor. So how did that parlay into your craps or your gambling career?
Confidence, discipline, the visualization. You want to visualize your wins before you get to the table. The confidence you should have from all your practice, the discipline to quit when you're ahead. All that comes into play, and I'd have to give, all the credit to my martial arts for that.
Yeah. I got to take a couple of comments real quick and put them out there. Lawrence Todd, where my granddaughter goes, there is a 10-year-old black belt who looks like is the best person there after the instructors. Yeah, so age doesn't necessarily mean you're the best.
No. And a 10-year-old with a black belt still has to mature and has a lot to do before that 10-year-old black belt turns into an adult black belt.
We got Texas Ron out there saying, hey guys, looking forward to tonight. Hi, Tony. You got some Texas fans out there. Steve.
Yeah, Ron was at my last workshop. He's actually in the video.
Oh, nice. I have to go back and watch him. Steve Guerreri, what's up, guys? It's time to sponge. Yep, we're going to be getting into some details here pretty quick. Super Mario, Monica must be great. Oh, here we go. Sam I Am. My friend Sam out there, he's asking, did Tony teach himself dice control?
Good question. And the answer to that is yes. Let me tell you exactly how it happened. In 2000, when I moved here, I went everywhere and watched everybody. I read everybody's books, glanced at them, read them, whatever. But and then when I looked at my craps table here at my home, I'm just looking at my table. Everybody at the time was all about on axis. Everything's on axis. Everybody's shot to be on axis. Well, I looked at my table, I gathered this information, and right out of the gate, I said, no way, Jose, the dice are going off axis. So I built my whole advantage dice control on going off axis at the time. And up until 2010, I used two sets. The hard way set and the all 7 set, which I also explained in my last video, with the whole idea of going off axis, okay? Because the on-off axis to me is very overrated. You're gonna be 50-50, maybe 60-40, not too much after that. So on or off axis really doesn't matter as long as you could see what you're doing, see that and play into that, for your betting method and your playing method.
Yeah. All right, so let's take another comment here. We've got Slam Bright out there, Tony Leo and Mark K making Monday nights great again. Yeah, so
Thanks,
it's great fun having you guys on here. Mudslide Mac, he loved the self-taught. That I think that's really important. That, like you said, you can read some material. Today we have the benefit of YouTube and a whole lot of people out there making videos, but the self-taught aspect of it just means that you know what you're doing, right? So you know how to make any kind of adjustments. You know how to read the table. You know the game. You're not just regurgitating something that you were trained. Now, on the flip side of that, you're a trainer. So you're teaching people a methodology of playing. Tell us a little bit about Advantage Dice Control without giving everything away. What's it all about?
Okay. On the last YouTube video, everybody watch it because I kind of did give it away, and I'm okay with that. I base everything, again, when you shoot the dice, it's going to send you valuable information back to you. And now you take that information and you plug that in on where you're going to go here in the future with your rolls. And once you learn what I call how to read your rolls, you're going to have a big advantage. For example, I'll give you one. Let's say I'm 6 dominant, meaning I'm throwing a 6-2, a 6-3, a yo, whatever, but one die has a 6 on it. Okay, comes time to press. Why would I press a 4, 5, or a 6 when an 8, 9, and a 10 all have a 6 on one of the die? Okay, so I would press the 8, 9, and 10. And you're going to see that's what I call my dominant momentum, the range. My signature number is what I'm throwing more of, whether it be a 5, a 9, a 4, it doesn't matter. That's my signature number, and I bet that accordingly as well. But also your dominant momentum, which is your range number, call it low and high if you like, and then you can see that picture emerge and take advantage of that as well.
Okay. So we got a couple more comments out here. Dice Grinder, our friend Arnell, Martial arts mentally translates well for craps table. I'm a believer because I also used to do martial arts. Yeah. Joe
Good,
Banda.
good.
I learned a lot just from watching Tony Leo's videos. I think a lot of us did.
Yeah.
And
Joe's on all of them. Joe leaves comments on all of them. I can't wait to meet you, Joe.
we got Sam I Am again. Where are Tony and Mark from? All right, let's start with Mark on this one.
Yeah, I'm actually in Florida on the West Coast near Tarpon Springs, about 30 minutes outside of Tampa.
And you pretty much lived there your entire life, or?
I grew up in the area, yeah, in Clearwater, but yes, in the Tampa area.
Yeah. And then, in addition to being a dice coach, you have a day job. And I think one that a lot of people would actually envy.
Yeah, I have a legitimate day job. I'm a full-time captain. I run a big 85-foot fishing boat.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day, if not, except for our slow season. And I use the slow season to get out and play craps all over the United States.
All right. So, Tony, what about you? Where's your background? Where you come from?
Born in Detroit, Michigan. Left there at the age of 6. However, I still try to go back as much as I can. I got 100 cousins out there. And so then at 6 years old, I moved to Southern California, where I pretty much grew up. Graduated from Huntington Beach High School. Bought my first house in Garden Grove. Got married. Moved to Yorba Linda. Did all that. And then in the year 2000, I went through a divorce and whatnot. And my kids knew when they turned 18, my 2 boys, they're now 37 and 35. But when they turned 18, they knew I was moving to Vegas. So it was already a plan that where I was going and what I was going to do. So that's what I did. I retired from the martial arts, good success, 45 years old, packed up and came here to Vegas, bought a home. Still, I've been in the same house for 21 years now. And I love it out here. Now, that being said, I don't know if I would be living here if there was no gambling. I'd probably at that point, might be on a lake somewhere with all of you guys fishing every day. I don't know.
Yeah, and Tony, you were telling me a little that you are a businessman. It's not just your martial arts. You've had a few other business adventures. Anything that you can tell us about?
I did. I learned at a very young age that I was very good in sales and creating things to happen and making things happen and whatnot. And I was a welder by trade. I went to school to be a welder. And anyway, after 1 year of welding, I was married at the time. My wife went to wake me up and she said, "You got to go to work." I said, "I ain't going to work." I quit. So I got into sales and did very, very well at it and learned different businesses. For example, I was in a gentleman hired me to be a sales manager for his oil company. So I did that. I did all this hiring and whatnot, took him to 100 employees, quit, and I went and opened up my own oil and gas company. Had it for 5 years, and I drilled probably over 100 oil and gas wells in the state of Texas. This was when oil was $10 a barrel, and I was making bank at $10, a barrel oil, drilling wells for partners all over the country. I had my sales crew, which in those days, it was all telemarketing. So Florida and both Southern California was the telemarketing capitals of the world. So everybody did it. So I had all my business there and had my oil company for 5 years. And then it was time to get out of that and came out here to Vegas. And all my students were in the timeshare business out here in Las Vegas. They said, "Tony, you want to do some timeshare?" I said, "All right, let's do some timeshare." So I did some timeshare. I was sales director in 4 months. After 4 months, I quit and opened up my own travel company. Sold it for 5 years. Sold it 5 years later, and now I'm just strictly doing the gaming pro full time.
Nice, very nice, very nice. All right, let's go back to some of the comments. We've got G Dub from Texas. Both of the guys are top shelf. Talked with both of you, and easy to talk to, and they will help you. Yep, G Dub, I got to agree with you. If you watch Tony's videos, he's every single one of his videos, he talks about he will answer the phone, and he does. Guys, I've talked to Tony many times over the last couple of years since I've taken his course, and he's always taken my call and helped me work out a few things over the phone. So don't take that lightly. He really does mean it, and he really does back that up. All right, let's keep moving on. Joe Banda, he hopes to see you sometime soon. Okay, looks like 6 dominance means plenty of field numbers.
6 and 1, both of them. And that's, I mean, when I sit here and practice and do my thing or go to the casino, there's lots of times, I throw 22 rolls every night from stick right and stick left before I go to bed just to keep practicing. And out of those 22 rolls, there's always at least 50% of them are field. So you think about that. If you could roll a field every other roll, every couple rolls, you can make some money.
Yeah, you just got a thumbs up on that one, making that comment. All right, North Florida Dice. You cool? Another Florida boy. Yeah, Mark, you got some neighbors out there.
Thank you.
All right, and then we've got a comment from Ting. Ting's out there watching us tonight. Agreed. Martial arts does tie into everyday life. My teacher's actually graduated from Dan Inosanto in Southern California. Oops,
oh yeah, Dan Inosanto. Yeah, he was a Bruce Lee student, his top student. I don't know if Danny's still alive or not, but I had the pleasure of working out with him. So back in the day.
Okay, we've got a question from Daryl DeJarlis. In the world of craps, I see a lot of players not playing the numbers that are hitting. How do you track this? Again,
I do it by what's called my dominant momentum. What number am I dominant? Not number per se as the 9 or the 5, but you got to look at both dice and figure out what your dominant die is or whatever. And I mean, if your last 3 rolls were a 4-1, a 4-2, and a 6-4, I mean, you pretty much could say your dominant momentum could be something with a 4 on it. If you're dice set, and I'm not talking anything random here, everything has to do with either me or my students shooting the dice, nothing random at all. So you can see that, like I said, when you throw those dice out, a pitcher's going to emerge. And as long as you're set in the same way, your same landing zone, your same grip and all that, you're not random anymore. Okay. So you have something here now that with practice, you'll be able to read your rolls and see where you're going. And that's another reason why I play by myself, because if I do, or with my team, if I do 7 out, one of us gets the dice right back, and you can just kind of regroup, do your thing, and get what you need, and you're done.
So, Tony, let's ask the question. I'm not sure if Daryl was going for this or not, but do you track the rolls of other shooters? Maybe not on your team, but just some other players at the table. Do you ever track them?
No, I don't. Let me ask you a question. How can you track a random shooter?
Good question. Good question. Okay, let's keep going. We've got Jason Zimbelman. Is craps better on the strip or downtown? I'm going to add another one. How about off-site or off the strip?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for. If I want to get paid triple on the 12, I'm going to go to a Boyd casino, which is Gold Coast, Suncoast, those. And they have all the other bets too. Well, let me think for a minute. If I'm going to play the triples, I'm going to be there. Other than that, I'm at Red Rock. I go to quite frequently. They just put the glass up, though. I got to kind of get used to that. South Point doesn't have any glass. M's fine. Downtown, I play at the Nugget, smaller tables. I love their tables. Or the Grand. And sometimes I'll play the Crapless Craps if it's opened at the Plaza. I love that game.
You said the Nugget.
It just depends on what you want to do. If you want to do the repeater bets, you got to kind of go to where they have them. If you want to crapless craps, you got to do that. It depends on what my game plan is for that, for that day.
All right. You said you played at the Nugget. Have you ever played at that little bitty, 4 or 5 foot table tub that they have out by their pool?
Everybody says that. I lost my ass at that damn thing. Everybody thinks because the distance so short, this, that, and the other. But you start looking at the girls at the pool. You have to sit down. You can't stand up. And the distance is so short, you're not even used to it. So no, I don't recommend the bucket.
Awesome. All right, let's keep going. We got my friend Rick. Let it roll. He's late to the party. Better late than never. Oh, here we go. We've got Michael Mora. He can't stay long. He's on his way to a Christmas party, but he will say that Tony's method worked for him. It's how he bought his first table. Good to see Tony's doing so well.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. I see all your posts too. Keep up the good. Your photography's off the charts. I love it, brother.
Yeah.
And I want to see you again. You and your wife come back out.
And I would say, Michael Mora, that's one of the reasons I took your classes. He had mentioned that to me once before that right after taking your class, using some of the methodologies that you teach, he was able to go out and buy this really beautiful table.
That's great. I love success stories. I want to hear everybody have one.
Dave, that's exactly how I got my table.
So, and you have another one of those beautiful tables. And in fact, Mark, can you tell us where you got your table?
I got mine from American Table Games from Dustin.
Dustin, okay.
Out in Nevada area is where it came from. The guy is excellent to work with. The craftsmanship is off the chain. It's perfect. And if you're going to get into this and you're really going to be serious about it, I suggest spending the money and doing it right.
And you say spending the money and doing it right, and those tables, they are not cheap. I've looked at them before. So saying that you want enough to go buy a table from American Table Games, that's saying something. And yep. I can't say it for certain, but I think that's where Michael got his as well.
Yeah, just anybody going to get a table, make sure it's a 12-foot table and it's got the hot bets on it.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Tony, my layout has the hot bets on it. It's got repeater bets on it and the all tall small. That's got everything on it.
Yeah, so there in Vegas, I think you have quite a few casinos with the repeater bets. I don't have them in my local casinos. All right, let's come back over and take a few more questions from the group here. The field is my friend from the Dice Grinder. And okay, let's just keep Mr.
My friend
007 Troy, Martingale the field. Okay. And Robert
let me say something about the Martingale. To me, the Martingale is the old way. It's not even, to do a true Martingale today, I don't agree with it at all, where you just simply double your bet. You don't want to just win one unit sometimes. Maybe you want to win more. And obviously they put a stop to the Martingale by putting limits on what you can bet. Now, a Martingale, sometimes not a Martingale, but an up as you lose is a very valid way to bet, as is an up as you win. And when we play craps or baccarat or anything else, there's only the four ways you could bet. You could either do same bet, which is your flat bet, like a 2-win parlay, up as you win, or an up as you lose to recoup and then make a profit, not just break even or win one unit, and then regress, where you start at a little level higher and work your way down. Now you can't lose. So those are the four ways to bet. But the martingale is a term that I don't really use anymore, and I don't agree with it as it was done then.
Okay. All right, keep on moving on. Robert Delgado, which casinos do you recommend playing craps in? And I think you kind of touched on that just a minute. It really depends on what your objective is.
I'll play at the M. I play a lot of them. I play at the M, South Point, the corner there where Bellagio, Paris, and Bally's is, and then downtown, the Nugget, the Plaza, the Grand. Off strip by me, I live out by Red Rock, so I frequent Red Rock, and I don't play at the same casino twice normally in the same week. And I
is that a strategic decision?
Well, not really. Not really, because I'm not a high roller like that. And the money I take out of the casinos in the day is, it's nothing to them. It's a drop in the bucket. So it's not like I'm killing them or nothing. I hit my goal and I get out of there. I'm done.
Very good. All right, Daryl's coming back with another question. Unfortunately, in Canada, there's not a lot of DIs, so I'm solo. I love coming to Vegas to play. And Daryl and I actually met last time I was in Vegas, and unfortunately, we kind of went our different ways to play, and Daryl killed it when he was there in Vegas last time. So, Daryl, we got to meet up there again someday.
Well, you guys, when you're in Vegas, give me a call. Come check me out.
So let's talk about that for just a second, Tony. You have you teach out of your home, but you also have an office. Do you still do lessons out of the office?
No, my office is actually rented long-term right now by a couple of students of mine.
Okay. Okay. And you have tables in both of those. Where did your tables come from?
My one table that's at my office came from one of the gambler stores out here years and years ago. But I didn't buy it from them. A friend of mine bought it and he ended up giving it to me. And then I got it that way. But it was originally from Spinetti's gambling store over there downtown. My table came from, I want to say, the basement of Flamingo. It had the red rails on it that were ripped. It was downstairs. I said, I'll take it. So I got it for like $1,200. I fixed the rails. I took them off and just took them to an upholsterer, put the black leather on it, ordered my new felts, and here I am. I love it. Don't forget a craps table, you guys. You get one in your house. It's actually a nice piece of furniture, too.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've noticed on your videos when you're up close, you're doing an up close shot, that your table or your tabletop has some sponginess to it, a little bit of give to it. What do you use for your underlayment?
Buddy, I have no idea. I have no idea. I know the felt that's on my table now. The one that's on my table now, I'm getting a call or something. Anyway, the one that's on my table now is just right over the old one. So I never took the older one off. The guy who put it on just had him put the new one right over it. So it's not a bouncy table. It's not a hard table. It's like right in the middle. It kind of reminds me of the Bellagio and the Red Rock.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I've played at Bellagio and I've played on your table, and they are very similar. All right, let's take it back to the see if we can get some more questions here. We've got Steve out there that hates the glass. He can't do any kind of follow through with his shot. Yeah. Here we go. Here's a good question for you. Dan D, the Golden Touch, Steve Haltom, Howard Newman, they teach dice control. Can Tony give some background on what he teaches and why?
Okay. Let's see. I'll just say this. There's nobody out there that does what we do. You won't find what I do in any book, any YouTube video, unless it's from me or Mark or some of my other students. Other than that, it's all I can tell you is we get much more into the betting aspect of the game, and I'm not so crazy about the dice are going to hit the back wall and they're going to do some things. So your results are what mean most to me, not how pretty they are in slow motion or anything like that. So I'd have to say the difference between me and everybody else is the betting aspects of the game.
Mm-hmm. So let's turn over to Mark really quick. So Mark, you and I have been playing together on some fantasy
Can't hear you,
craps.
Dave.
I can hear him loud.
You can hear me? Okay. Tony, you can't hear me?
I can't hear you guys.
Okay, so I'm just going to come over to Mark for just a second. So Mark, we got Tony talking about how he plays, and it's a lot about the betting. And then he also mentioned earlier that it's watching for the dominant numbers. But I've seen you shoot, and I've seen you shoot 40, 50, 60 times. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with dice influence?
Yeah, what it is, Dave, like I said earlier, is that I think a lot of it comes to do with the amount of practice I put in for the game and the amount of tables I played in. I think traveling around and playing in all the different casinos that I've been into with all the different table conditions, I can read my dice. I know what's going on as soon as I see what's coming up on the numbers. And if I don't see what I like, I know how to fix it. And that's very, very important.
Nice.
Again, like Tony said, I use what I'm seeing to make my bet. I know what to bet and why I'm betting them before I bet them. So I'm not wasting money sitting there on the table that aren't getting rolled. So
let me say, Tony, can you hear us at all?
Well, I'm trying to. I turned up my volume. Nope, I can't. I really can't. I'm holding the phone next to me now, so I can hear. Can you hear me the same?
Yeah, you sound just fine. We can hear you crystal clear.
All right.
I was going to say, if you want to drop the call and then come back in through that link, we
Okay,
can
let
talk
me
to
do
Mark for
that.
just a minute. Okay, very
All
good.
right, let me do that.
All right, Mark, we're going to come back to you. Apologies, everybody. We got some technical glitches going on here. Let's go back over to Dice Tosser for Life. American Table Games is an awesome company to get them from. He loves his. And James, I've seen your table on your videos too. You have a very beautiful table as well. And Nick Boritz. Hey, Nick. Good evening. An on-axis throw and the hard way set will get you some good sevens for the dark side. So talk about that, Mark. How do you bet the dark side?
I don't generally bet the dark side too often, unless I'm betting against other shooters on the table.
Yeah.
The random shooter, I'm going to use the dark side on them a lot of times. On myself, no, I don't. If I'm throwing the dice and I'm seeing what I need to see, I'm going to roll fairly well and hold my own, staying away from the dark side. So I don't bet it. I know what the off-axis throw is going to do for me, and I use it to my advantage.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's flip back over and see if we've got Tony calling back in. Let's try this again. Find a guest. Sorry, everybody. I know we're having a little bit of technical problems here. Tony, can you hear us now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you crystal clear. So everybody, give us just a minute. Let's see if Tony can get his camera hooked back up, and we'll continue going here in just 1 second. We got Tomcat out there also saying he totally agrees on the American Table Games. Dustin is great. Tony, are you out there? Okay, well, listen. Yeah, we definitely have some technical difficulties going on here. Let me see if I can change something up for just 1 second here. Tony. All right, so Mark, here we got both of us on the screen. Let's see if we can take some of these other questions and see if you can answer them. Let's see here. Hard 8. Slambright, I agree. Whoever same bet decides to put on his channel, please make it with someone that actually has some knowledge to the game. King, all right, we're not going to talk about King Dice here. Dirt Angler, Tony, what's your favorite dice sets you use? All right, let's flip this around and give you that question, Mark.
Yeah, I use 2 different sets most of the time. I do use all 7 set a lot of times. But it depends on what the table conditions are and what the table is telling me. And that's how I decide what set I'm going to use.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's last week we had Jacob from Wager Me This, and we talked about the toolboxes and the tools in everybody's kits. You kind of got to know what you're throwing and be able to adjust to it. And so one set doesn't work all the time.
Absolutely correct. I've gone to tables and thrown 3 or 4 rolls, 7 out, see what 7 I'm rolling and know what to do to fix it, and turn right around and run it all tall, small the very next round.
Yeah.
So knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it is key.
All right, I'm going to see if we can get Tony back in here. I'm not sure if we've got him or not, but let's see what's going on. Can you hear us, Tony? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going with the Q&A questions from the Dice Tosser for Life. What age, Tony, did you get into craps?
Oh, well, I'm 60. I'll be 68 in February, and I've been going to Vegas and playing 20s, 25, say.
Nice. Let's see here. We've got Mr. 007 Troy. Just subscribe to the Gaming Pros website.
A little bit of history. I used to park my car on Fremont Street and play at the Mint. Okay, so and then walk across to the Nugget. Yeah, I mean before it was Fremont Street, I used to park my car right there.
Yeah, let it roll out there saying he loved Tony's last video.
Thank you very, very much.
Hard 8. I would be embarrassed to admit. I'm sorry. Guys. Let's keep the king dice comments off of here if we can. I apologize. I'm gonna try not to put those up here. Do you believe in the comeback bets like the Dominator? I think it's
Comebacks?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. What he's trying to say.
Yeah, no, I don't do comebacks. If you watch my old videos, I even discuss that. I mean, comebacks to me, it's like another pass line bet. You got to hit it twice to get paid on it. Other people, they look at things a little bit differently, but my goal is to, if I want to get paid on every roll. If you don't get paid on every roll, that roll's wasted.
All right.
My opinion.
Let's see here. I'm going to skip one of the questions and come back to it just in here just a moment. Sam, I am a question for Mark. Oops. Sorry about that. Did we lose Mark? We lost Mark now. Okay, we definitely have some technical difficulties, but Mark holds his courses in Florida, and I cannot remember the name of the city that he's in.
Tarpon Springs.
Tarpon Springs, Florida. Very good. Okay, we've got Eric T wanting to know, has anyone really made money long-term on craps?
Long-term is a thing that I've always kind of been against, because people will say that whatever game you're playing, will it win long-term? That's their question. And my answer is twofold. Number one, you're never going to play long-term. You're not going to throw the dice 50 million times or play 50 million hands of blackjack or this or the other. But that being said, I mean, what do you call long-term? If you're a consistent winner, I look to be a consistent winner every month. On the plus side every month. I could have a bad day, I could have a bad week, but at the end of the month, I'm up money. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. So if you want to call it long-term, yeah, you can win long-term.
Well, and I think that you had a video out, and I can't remember the name of the video, but you talked about 27-3 or something like that. That you recognize you're not going to win every day. You're not going to win every single time. But with a good, solid betting strategy and some skills, you can turn those losses into you can absorb some losses.
Right, exactly. The 27-3 strictly business is the name of the video. Basically, it's on the premise that if you play in a 30-day month, you can lose your bankroll 3 times. As long as you win the other 27 times, you're ahead of the game. But you need 3 bankrolls. So if you're buying in with $1,000, your bankroll, you need to have 3,000. Okay, you need to have 3,000 or 3 bankrolls of 1,000. If you're buying in for 6,000, you need to have $18,000. That's 3 bankrolls. But by doing that, what I always say about money management, you're going to have the strength of your reserves, because you have that money you need to get over that bridge. And you're also going to have the power to resolve by the way you bet. Then at that particular time, maybe depending on how you're betting, you might only need 1 or 2 rolls of the dice to be ahead of the game again. So that's how we look at it. So, but I mean, I say 3 times you could lose your bankroll, but I mean, I had 1 loss all year, 1 bankroll loss, and got it back. And that was at Baccarat. It wasn't even at craps.
Oh, great segue. That was so. I'd like to ask you another question before we move on to talk about wage. Advantage dice control is obviously about craps, but you teach a few other things as well. Tell us a little bit about what your other offerings are.
Well, I teach the 4 major table games: craps, baccarat, blackjack, and roulette. Like I said, I was on a very, very successful blackjack team in the early 80s. And we kicked butt. We were out here all the time. We were flat betting green and $100 chips. So we would use a betting progression of 1 on a win. We'd go $100 and go up 4 times on that. We killed it. But roulette, I play that only because it's not a 50-50 game like people think, because of the 0 and double 0. But there are more ways to play roulette than any other game. I mean, almost. You got columns, dozens, odd, even. You got so many different bets you can do. And it's my people outside of the United States, you get into Europe and everything, they don't order craps. It's all roulette. Okay. So So it's a good game. It's a good game to play. I don't like to sit down at a table and play. I will make my bet and wait for the result and then walk to another table and do it that way. And then Baccarat is a good game as well. I mean, it's one bet. You have a winning hand in front of you every time. You just need to know which side to bet. But the 4 table games are what I do. My 2 money makers for me are craps and Baccarat.
Yeah. So, but in addition to Advantage Dice Control, I believe you offer some training on these other games as well, right?
Oh, sure. People that on my website, you can order any of them. So, I mean, actually, my Baccarat is probably my biggest seller. People think it's craps. It's just because I don't promote the Baccarat or whatnot. But a lot of people call me with no gambling experience. They want to know, Tony, what game should I play? And then I tell them the differences, not so much the odds and things, but, craps, you're standing up, Baccarat, you're sitting down, da-da-da-da-da-da. And they say, I think I might like that. Okay. And that's how they do that. And then more than not, everybody gravitates to another game as well.
All right. So I'm going to pull in a comment from Texas Ron again. And I think a lot of people are tuning in today to hear about this wage program. So Texas Ron, anticipating to hear about wage. So Tony, why don't you take it away? Tell us what this what is wage?
All right. Okay. Wage is I've had wage since 2016. I just never did anything with it, but the name was there is what it was. But wage stands for the Winners Association of Gambling Entrepreneurs. And it caters to those gambling professionals who favor those 4 games: craps, Baccarat, roulette, and blackjack. And it's going to be a membership program. It's going to be an exclusive membership because I'm only taking 50 people. It's a 1-year program. And during that 1 year, the website's not up yet. It's all in the baby steps still. So the website will be up probably at the end of the month of January, and then I'll start adding content to it and this and that. But it's a membership program where over the course of a year, you're going to get virtual training, being the videos I'm going to shoot, which will go up into the new website for members only. The videos I'm going to shoot will be not like the YouTube videos. The YouTube videos give you the cake, but you don't get the icing. With wage, you're getting the icing as well. So my goal is to create 50 winners, consistent winners in a 1-year period of time. You can't renew it and do it for another year. You're done. Okay. At the end of that 1 year, I'm going to call you a wage master, and you're going to be proficient to win consistently in any one or all of those 4 major table games. And you're even going to graduate with a certificate and saying that you've completed the course and you're no longer just a player. Now you're a consistent winner. But that's the concept of wage. It's going to be an exclusive membership, 50 only. And I want everybody to win because at the end of the year, I want to show everybody off for the next group.
Yeah, I think one of the key words in wage is the entrepreneur. We have a lot of people asking questions out there in the chat that I didn't bring them all in, but can you really make money? Can you make a living doing this? Well, this wage program, as you and I have talked over the last month or so, it is a way to arm you with skills. I won't go as far as saying that you can make a living at it, because a living to me might be different from a living for you and the next person. But you are equipping your 50 students with the knowledge of how to be successful gambling.
Oh yeah, we're going to get into the mindset. We're going to get into all the betting and this, that, and the other. And you don't have to do all 4 games. That's not you don't have to do that. You can just concentrate on craps if you like. Or I do suggest another game to have 2 games under your belt. Roulette would not be one of them. Roulette is more, it's one of the 4 major games. It's probably the most popular casino game, but it's not a way for us to win. It is not a 50-50 game. So that being said, plus it takes too long for that little ball to spin around. I like to get in and out, limit my play for an hour. And you can do that at craps, Baccarat, or blackjack.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm going to flip over here and I want to check and see. Mark, did we get you back on?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what happened there with the battery, but it died.
Okay, we're definitely experiencing our share of technical difficulties tonight. All right, I'm going to come back and we're going to ask a couple more questions. Is Tony living in Vegas or Florida?
No, Tony lives in Vegas. I've been here 21 years.
Yeah, Mark is the one living in Florida. We got the Vegas Dice Controller. Hey, everyone. Hello. Midnight Train 66. Good evening, Midnight Train. And okay, so that means we're caught up on our comments. So Tony, let's come back over again and talk a little bit about Wage. What's your timing? When are you thinking your website's going to be up and available for the public to learn more about it?
Let's just say first quarter of 2021, January, February, March, it should all be up and running, and we'll work any of the bugs out of it, and have it going full speed by March, I'm sure.
Awesome. So the way I understand it, this Wage program is going to be twofold. You're going to have some videos out there, some private videos for your students, and then you're going to have a call or a weekly meeting with your students where you can talk about whatever issues you're facing, maybe run some scenarios back and forth with each other, basically building a strong community of gambling entrepreneurs. Does that sum it up pretty well?
Right. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, thank you. I forgot about that. Here's some of the perks on being a member with Wage. First of all, you're going to get exclusive training. There's only going to be 50 of us. I'm not only going to teach you how to do everything, I'm going to hold you accountable as well. I'm coming with 100% going into this. And if you want the results, I expect you to do the same. But you're going to get the exclusive training. You're going to get, I'm planning on doing 36 training videos within the year, 3 a month. On whatever, on something we're doing. But again, everything you're going to get, I'm going to share it with you and demonstrate it so you can see it work. And you're going to have all the betting right there. You're going to know what your next bet is. You're going to know everything about the program. So there's going to be the 36 training videos that will be what we're going to call the video vault on the website. You're also going to get a Zoom call meeting every week for Q&A. Okay, so there's going to be 48 of them. That'll be all Q&A, or maybe I'll do something on a whiteboard or whatnot. Then I'm also making a private Facebook page for our members. I mean, private to where nobody can get in unless you're a member. So you guys could share ideas. We could talk about the methods. You could do your trip reports, whatever. And you'll have, like minds all together and having a good time. The workshops are still free. All my workshops are free. Especially for Wage. I plan on having a meeting where all 50 of us are together. And
I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
So your Wage program is about to take off. You're still going to offer Advantage Dice Control, right?
Oh yeah, none of that's going to change. It's going to be 2 separate websites. I mean, people are going to do what they're doing already with the Gaming Pro. This is just something a little different. It's all virtual. And my goal here is not to just sign up 50 students. I want 50 winners. Okay, so I want 50 testimonials at the end of the year saying we did this, it works, blah blah blah. But in order to do that, we're going to have to work at it, and we're going to get you there.
So I think a lot of your videos that you have on the Advantage Dice Control program are some of the most popular YouTube videos out there on Dice Control. Are they going to remain out there, or are they going to be part of this library that you have to be an exclusive member of?
No, that has nothing to do with Wage. They're already up there. The ones with Wage are going to take the videos that are on YouTube a step further and show you all the inside, all the insides and outs of that. That way you can win. We're not going to leave any stone unturned. I mean, everything's going to be right there. You're not only going to get the cake, you're going to get the icing on the cake. And we're going to work at it. I'm going to hold you accountable, and come to Vegas. We're going to go play. I want to see it work.
Very good. Very, very good.
All
right, guys.
Got 49 spots left.
What was that, Mark?
I said Tony's only got 49 spots left.
49 spots left. The number 1 spot and the number 2 spots are already taken. He's only got 48 left. All right, guys, we only have about 10 or so minutes left. And, Tony, I don't know if what your schedule's like, or Mark, if you can stay a little bit long. I think we're going to have some more questions coming in here. So let's finish out the night with a few of your questions. I'm going to give you a few minutes to post some questions out there and tell you a little bit about what's coming up here on the next couple of episodes of Talking Craps. So next week, we won't have a show. I'm taking a little bit of time off. I'm not really taking some time off, but I'm going to be working on some behind-the-scenes things. But when we come back on January 4th, we're looking at Michael Feldman. He's a casino host, an independent casino host that's going to be on here, talking a little bit about what they can do for you, and maybe some of the advantages of an independent host over a corporate or a property host. So I'm really looking forward to spending some time with him. Then on January 11th, we're going to have Mel Lumho and Brian Balaskan from Craps Culture in Hawaii. Hawaiians have a reputation of being great craps players. So we're going to get a couple of them on, and we're just going to spend an hour talking craps. Then on January 18th, that's a tentative date, but Mark Duvall from the podcast You Can Bet on That, he is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about Hollywood and Las Vegas. And that should be an exciting story as well. Coming up in the future, we don't have any dates set, but we are going to be have Heavy, Steve Haltom, and Mark Evangelisto. They're going to be on the show, along with David and Alex from CEG. We're still working on the dates and what we're going to be talking about in that show. And then Howard Newman, he's actually going to return for another episode, probably sometime in February. So we've got a lot of great shows coming up. And, as the schedule changes or it gets more solid, I'll be posting more information out there as we go along. All right, let's end the show, Tony, by taking a few more of these questions. Let me scroll back up here and see what we've got. What is Tony and Mark's best role and best night at a casino? It's story time. Tell us a story.
Go ahead, Tony.
I don't like to tell stories, but I'll tell you two of them. My biggest blackjack win, not my biggest win, but under the circumstances, I was at the Riviera on my way home to catch on my way to the airport to catch an airplane back to California. I had 15, 20 minutes to kill. I had my suitcase in my hand. I stopped at the last blackjack table by the door and ended up in less than 10 minutes making $11,000. They changed the dealers on me 3 times in 10 minutes. And I never did come home because, like I said, every pit boss was there, and they kind of twisted my arm with all the comps, the limos, the girls, you name it, it was there. So that's another reason I don't like comps, guys, because that night, that extra one night cost me $4,000. So,
wow.
But anyway, it was a wild night. Craps was about 10 years ago at the Rio. I made $45,000.
And I think that speaks to your discipline again. You talked a little bit earlier about, having a win.
But my discipline at that night wasn't there because I was there for like 4 hours. And I mean, it was just one of those nights that, hard 10, and that's what I threw. It was just, like I said, one of those nights. It probably won't ever happen again.
All right, let's go to the next question. Tony, are the tables open or do they have plastic between players?
No, it depends on where you play. South Point has no glass. There's a couple of them that don't. Some of the Boyd casinos have the glass on the sides, but then in front of you as well, and that's very hard to throw. Red Rock has them just right up to the edge of your chip rack, so you can still throw. You just can't maybe throw, just straight out. You might have to throw to the center of the table or a little bit toward the hook. But, I mean, that's not really no big deal. I prefer stick right over stick left with the glass. And, so, I mean, it is what it is. But, no, it's okay. It's beatable. It's still beatable.
Yeah, so I can say one of the things about the Advantage Dice Control program is that you are taught to play different ways. So, if the plexiglass is restrictive for one style of throw, it might work in another style. Now, I'm saying that without any experience. I haven't played with plexiglass, but I have played a lot of Tony's methods. So I do know that you can adapt and you can adjust and you can overcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, next question. Actually, I'm going to field the next question here. We've got Clutch Pyro. And Clutch, it's good to hear from you again, man. We miss you participating in our forums. But he's asking about what kind of membership fees are we looking at? And we're actually not going to go into that here. So Tony's still working on the program. And if you're really interested in one of these, in his Advantage Dice Control or the Wage program or any of the other programs that he's talked about, check out his website, or better yet, give him a call. So directly one-on-one, he'll talk to you about those kind of things.
Sure.
All right,
Absolutely.
Moving on. Eric T's wanting to know, will it be a lifetime membership where we can go back and look at the videos? So I'm assuming that you go through the class, you finish your year, and it's time to make room for the next group of 50. Do we lose access to that forum, or will we get to continue?
No, you'll continue because you'll still have. That's a good question. I really don't know yet, but I'd have to say no. You can have it. The Facebook page is for the members, so you'll have that there. The videos will probably be in there as well. But no, I don't. The program is going to be duplicated. So I guess what I'd be telling you is at the end of the year, you're not going to have to watch them again. I would hope. So, but I mean, as a reference or whatnot, yeah, I don't see any problem there. You're not going to pay me for another membership because at that point, you're going to have everything I can possibly give you. So at that point, it's going to be all up to you. So, but yeah, you'll have access to that. You won't have to pay again, but it's simply going to be the same program again.
So Texas Ron out there saying there's only 47 spots left, Tony. All right, Vegas Dice Controller. Let's say for a $1,000 buy-in, what would be my lowest possible base bet? And what would be the highest bet during a session, assuming I'm on a losing streak? Okay, that's kind of a complicated question, but...
Well, it is, but here's how I'll answer it. I mean, with a $1,000 bankroll, I mean, to make money in the casino, you need a large bankroll, you need to make bigger bets, and you need to limit your time in the casino. That's the secret right there. You don't have the bankroll, you don't have your weapons, you can't do nothing. You have no reserves. But anyway, with $1,000, you got to think, okay, well, how are you going to bet? If you're using enough as you lose, and you're starting with a $10 bet, and whatever you're doing, and you're going up the ladder, I mean, you might hit that 1,000 kind of quick. If you're betting the 6 and the 8, and you're just flat betting $12 each side. And now you build a hand, and now you're pressing and collecting and this and that, and pretty soon you rolled 30 times, you made $400. Well, there you go. Now you add that to your bankroll, now you got $1,400. But with a $1,000 minimum, you're not going to have too much room to go up as you lose. You can go up as you win. You can do a regression, start a little higher and come back down, 2-win parlay, things like that. But $1,000 is adequate to make money.
Definitely. All right, I've got a couple more that we're going to pull in here. I've got Dice Tosser for Life. You only have 46 now, Tony.
Good. I love it. You guys are too kind.
Let's see here. Vegas Dice Controller coming back. Another reason to learn multiple shots because of the plexiglass. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that Tony mentioned dice are all off-axis. I think the same way.
Well, I mean, again, it's going to be 50-50. There's guys out there right now, and I know you don't want to mention any names, David, but I watched a video. I watch a lot of people's videos out there just to see different things. I watched one last night. He was trying to discuss that the only way to make money is to stay on axis. I watched him throw in his demo tape. Using the same set I use, he threw 20 times. 19 of them were off axis, but he's pitching. The only way you're going to make money is to stay on axis. So really look at your dice. Look at both dice, not just one, and see if you truly are on or off axis, because everybody says on axis, but when you look at the rolls, they're off.
Okay.
A lot of them.
Okay, we've got MLB Zitty out there. I tried your hopping bets using the hardway set, and the money didn't make sense. Do you teach anything besides hopping?
Of course, I teach every kind of method you could think of, from the 6 and the 8, the inside, the across, the whatever. The hops are a bet that you're going to make only when you see a pitcher emerge. It's not part of my base bet. My base bet is normally the 4 through 10, depending on what method, or maybe the 6 and the 8 with the field or whatnot. But before I make the hop bet, I need to see a pitcher emerge and see what my signature number is, my dominant momentum, this, that, and the other. Then I make the hop bets. And obviously, you're not a student of mine, because if you were, you would know the different levels of the betting that we do on that. But again, the hard way set doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just on how you're reading the rolls and implementing your hop bets. But they're not a base bet that you're going to do all the time, only when that pitcher emerges and the opportunity's there.
Yeah, I think that comes back to what you were saying about you need to read your table. You need to get that intel back from the dice, and they're going to tell you something. And
That's
the
right.
hop bets is just, to borrow a phrase from my friend Jacob Wager Me This, it's just a tool in your toolbox. At the right time, bring it out and get the job done.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. But understand too, when we make our hop bets, on the one that you see all the time on the videos is my original hop. It's 7 numbers. You have 14 ways to throw that. So even a random shooter is going to throw that every 2 point whatever times anyways. So we're setting the dice for that particular range of numbers. We are setting for that. So we're not just randomly throwing them and hoping. We're looking for that. And you can see the results when we look at the videos. You can see the results of the guys throwing, how many they're hitting.
Yep. All right, guys, I think we're about at our hour point. And Mark, just kind of wanted to come back over and visit with you for just one more minute. So Mark, you do teach classes. How's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I've posted it out there quite a few times throughout the different classes. They call me directly. I can give you my number now if you guys want to write it down. It's a 727-944-6252. Call. If I don't answer, please leave a message, and I will get back to you as soon as I get the phone.
Yeah, and I would say that if anybody out there has trouble getting hold of Mark, they didn't catch the number, you can always leave me a message, and I can help get you guys in touch with either Mark or Tony, either one. All right, Tony, let's turn it back over to you. Any parting thoughts or any wisdom nuggets that you can impart on the people before we let you go?
Just work your plan. Your plan will work for you. Treat it as a business, no matter what casino game you're playing. That's what I recommend. I don't go to have for fun. I mean, I really I go for one reason, and that's to make an income, and I'm done. And you got to look at it that way, and that's part of the mindset training we'll be doing in Wage as well. But that's it. Be properly bankrolled. It's hard to go buy in for $100 and expect to earn 1,000 unless you get going right out of the gate. But sometimes that's not easy to do. But just work your plan, follow your plan, be bankrolled, have your bankroll, limit your time in the casino. And know how to bet, learn how to read your rolls, and obviously take your time to be a good shooter, the right grip, the right landing zone, all of that. That's all important. So just practice.
All right, guys, there you have it. That was Tony Leo and Mark Kilgore telling us a little bit about Advantage Dice Control and about the new program of Wage coming up. Best way to do it is to visit his Facebook page or visit his website. Give him a call. Or if you need to, leave comments down here, and he'll be monitoring some of these as well. That's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And like I said, no show next week. But when we return in January, look forward to having Michael Feldman, casino host, with us. Guys, thank you very much. And appreciate you guys talking craps.
Good night, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.